Hey guys, I'm cmasupra and welcome to a War Thunder realistic battle in the P-51 Mustang. This is an American Tier 4 prop that actually is pretty bad in realistic battles. It's pretty good in simulator battles where it's not a climb war, but this plane is not very good at climbing, and as a result it is not very good in realistic battles in general. Climbing, and I also guess because it does have a weak armament, it only has 650 cals, which is pretty weak at this tier. And they are the M2 50 cals, which are the slower firing ones compared to the M3s that the Bearcat gets. So I want to show this game because it was actually a pretty good game. You can get good games in bad planes. They're rare, but they happen, and this was one of them. I managed to get myself 3 player kills this game, and I outflew a lot of enemies this game, which I was pretty proud of. So below me here, you can see that there is an ME-410, and those are kind of hard to kill, but I am going to go for it even with my weak armament. As you can see, I'm getting some hits on him. I think I damaged his right wing, and I'm trying to damage him as much as possible here, hopefully set him on fire. I was unable to do so, though. At least I did damage one of his cooling systems in one of his 2 engines, and so hopefully one of his engines will die here. Maybe, maybe not. It could take a few minutes, could take a few seconds, who knows. Eventually one engine will die, though. And it looks like the right engine has already died, which is great for me, and now I'm going for the left engine, although I'm missing a lot of shots. I actually do manage to set the right engine on fire, which is great, and I go ahead and get away from the ME-410, away from its rear gunners. Don't want to get hit too many times here and lose flight performance, because I'm going to need it at this low altitude. I have lost a whole lot of altitude attacking that ME-410, and now there are enemies behind me, as you can see. But lucky for me, they are on teammates and not on me, and there are also teammates chasing the enemies who are on my teammates, and so I am pretty safe here. So I decided to go ahead and start climbing, get above them, and then do another boom and zoom attack once I am above them, and it is safe to do so without getting shot at by the enemies. Already at 1700 meters, which is awesome. I almost said 1700 kilometers, which would obviously be wrong. There's a 109 below me. I don't know why he went below me. He was at about the same altitude as me, but he ended up diving down for some reason. Maybe he didn't want to do a head-on or something. I don't know. It is the BF-109 G2, which is kind of a low-ranking plane to be seeing against a Mustang, but it is actually a pretty good plane. It's slightly under-tiered, ever so slightly. It does decide to turn right. I fire. It's now smoking something, probably leaking oil, and I fire more at it because it's kind of so damaged it can barely fly, and I managed to chop off the left wing, which was awesome, as you saw. So that is going to be my second kill once he crashes into the ground, like he does there, and that is 2 kills so far this game for me. First was the ME-410, and second was the BF-109 G2. So now there's a whole bunch of enemies behind me, as you saw, except now I'm turning around so they're in front of me. But they're below me, and they're fighting teammates. They're not fighting me, so I'm going to go ahead and go towards them and climb slightly. I would rather get closer towards them than to be too much higher, because I do want to help my teammates out there. It's more important for me to save my teammates and use teamwork than it is for me to get altitude, because teamwork trumps altitude. Always has, always will, if people would actually use teamwork in these games, which they really don't, sadly. It looks like there's a whole bunch of enemies there. Look at how many there are. There are only 3 friendlies plus me, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4 enemies spotted right now, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's a 5th one there, so we're outnumbered 4 to 5, which is not good for us. So it would be really nice if I would go down there and help my teammates out, which I do decide to do pretty soon here. Now, I don't know why, but it seems like most of the enemies, 4 out of the 5 of them, went for one single enemy, their enemy, one single teammate of mine, which was actually quite handy, because we're all able to go onto the 6s of the other enemies and help shoot them down. I don't know what the enemies were doing there, going on one person, but they did. I decided to go down on this 190A, which is actually really low and circling down there, which I cannot match, so I have to pull up, and I don't want to risk crashing into the ground, so I had to pull up. Couldn't get shots on him, and he's not going to be able to catch me here, luckily, because he was turning, he was losing a lot of energy. But sadly, he had teammates, and the teammates are catching me, as you can see. So instead of going vertical like I was doing to retain my energy, what I am doing now is going into a shallow climb. I need to go more horizontal than vertical here, because they will outclimb me, and so I need to run away vertically and not, or rather I need to run away horizontally, not vertically. so I can outrun them, because I do have a better engine than they have. They can just simply outclimb me, though. So I'm running away here. They're not catching me nearly as fast as they were before, and so I'm getting away. I am safe here. I just need to get far enough away to where they are not in firing range at all, and then I can get above them, and then I can boom and zoom on them once again. Hello there, flaming enemy. I did not even see you over there. I'm glad my teammate set you on fire, or else I might have died right there. I have no idea if that enemy was chasing me. Oh, hello there, Blood Rain. Kill the enemies. I'm kinda luring them, so this is great. It looks like all of them have broken off of me, thanks to Blood Rain, I think, as well as the teammate that's down below all the enemies there. He's acting as bait, which is very nice of him. Some teamwork going on, one person acting as bait, the other one shooting. Very, very nice. I just need to start participating, so I decided to turn around, because I need to start participating, like I said, and help my team out there. It looked like it was 3 enemies versus 3 of us, but I'm not over there, so it's really 3 versus 2 of us, which is not a fair fight for us at all. So there is an enemy below me there, as you can see, but he's fighting a teammate, so I'm not too worried about that. He also just got critted by my teammate, so that's good. Everything's going good down there as far as that enemy is concerned. But there is an enemy pretty close to my altitude. I think his name was Saint something, and he's in a 190A, and the fact that he was so close to my altitude kind of worries me with him. And I've also lost track of him because he's too far, I don't know, too far away, I guess, and so I couldn't spot him anymore. Even though I had him selected, so you can spot him farther away. And so I decided to dive down, as you saw, and go for the one enemy that I did see, who was still alive. And in the process of doing that, I actually found Saint over here. So I fire, I damage his left wing, which is going to make it harder for him to pull maneuvers and harder for him to fly. And this is going to go very well for me. He also has less energy than I do, because I was the one diving down on him, and I'm going vertical to maintain my energy. Although I didn't lose all my energy in going vertical, so I didn't maintain all my energy that I possibly could have if I simply would have gone higher. But I have more energy than he has, which is good, and I am catching him in this dive here. Now this is a shallow dive, which is something you don't want to do if you want to maintain energy, but I'm doing it because these enemies are chasing one of my teammates, and I'd really like to save my teammate here. So I'm still going for Saint Crazy because the other 2 enemies are slower, and so they're not much of a risk to my teammate here. But Saint Crazy kind of is. He's the fastest of the enemies, and so I decided to go for him. I don't know if he's aware that I'm back here. I fire, missing a whole bunch, getting a whole bunch of sparks as well, and I don't understand why, but I just could not get any hit credits, despite how many times I hit him and got sparks there. In the end, though, with my second burst, I did manage to crit his fuselage, which really does nothing in this game, most of the time, unless you crit it really badly, in which case it completely disables the enemy plane. But I crit his fuselage, which really didn't seem to do much of anything, I'm pretty sure, so he's still alive and perfectly fine. He is directly below me, though, as you might have noticed, so I decided to dive down and go on to him. There he is. He disappeared because he was so far below me. So now, as I'm diving on this guy, you might notice that I am the one and only person left on my team. There are 3 enemies remaining, but I am the one and only person left on my team. And that is not a good situation to be in, especially when 2 of the enemies are on your tail. Now I am chasing one of them, and he is turning, which is going to slow me down and make the enemies behind me able to catch me easier, but I would really like to kill this guy, and so I did shoot at him, and I actually critted his elevator, and he will be going down there, as you saw, and that was my 3rd kill for this game. And now I just have 2 enemies on my tail. I was wrong, there were actually 4 enemies remaining. 3 of them were in this area, so now there are 3 enemies remaining, 2 of which are on my tail. But luckily for me, it is a BF-109 F4 and a BF-109 G2, both of which are slower than the P-51 even on the deck, where the P-51 is the slowest. The P-51 is definitely best at high altitude. So it's time to just run away from them, shallow dive like I was doing, not shallow dive, shallow climb like I was doing before, because they will outclimb me even though they're lower tier planes. I just need to run away horizontally, and that's exactly what I do, and I actually managed to go back to my base and land and rearm because I was very low on ammo. I had 64 rounds left, I'm pretty sure. I was able to run away and land because they eventually broke off of me because I was so far away that they couldn't see me anymore. So yeah, managed to land and all, and then we ended up losing, as you saw in the ending clip there, because they had a Dornier 217K, which is a bomber, and the bomber killed the last medium tank on my team, or at least the last one needed to run down our tickets, and so we ended up losing, sadly. Now, even though I got 3 kills that game, like I said, we ended up losing, and that's because despite our teamwork and despite the fact that we just did so well against the enemy fighters, at least at the beginning there, and eventually I got some kills against the enemy fighters and ended up being the only one left against 2 of them, we ended up losing, all because they had a bomber and we didn't have any bombers for some odd reason, despite being the Americans who have B-17s and usually have B-17 spam on their team. I don't know, but the Germans won because they had bombers, sadly. I was unable to shoot down the remaining 2 enemy players, and so that was the end of the game. So, like I said, 3 kills, pretty good game, not really much to say there, so that's going to be it for this video. I hope you all have enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.